All right, I'm going to work out this review. I'm asking you to print the part number on each one. So there's a go copy the scores list from the worksheet. From the PDF. I just did that. Here you go. So don't type it out. Go copy it. Now I'm asking you to find the average of all those things and the biggest number. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a total variable because we're going to add them up. We're going to put 0 in total. And then we're going to say largest equals 0 because all those numbers are bigger than 0, right? And then now we're going to go through the list for x in scores. We're going to say total equals total plus x. We add the current, this line gets all the numbers one at a time, puts them into x. So now we're going to add them all up. That's for finding the average. And then we're also going to say if x is greater than largest, then we have a new largest value. So what that does is on the way, it checks each one. Hey, is 81 bigger than 0? Yes. Okay, great. Is 45 bigger than 81? No. Is 98 bigger than 81? Yes. And then all the other numbers are smaller, so we end up with 98 being in the largest variable. The idea this will work with any set of numbers. So now we can print the average. Average, comma, and we do total divided by length of scores. We don't have to count it, and we want it to work with any length. So, and then print largest. So let's run it and make sure it gives us the right numbers. Yep, those are the right numbers. So then we print a blank line. I'm going to leave a blank line in my code, and I'm going to print part 2. Use a for loop to print 15 random numbers, each between 10 and 13. Okay, so since we're going to do random, we have to go back up to the top and say import random. And then, so don't forget that. And then we're going to do for x in range. I want 15 random numbers, so that's going to repeat 15 times. And I'm going to say r equals random dot rand int 10 comma 13, print r comma end equals space. Okay, and that prints them all in the same line, and then we print a blank line, and then we print another blank line. So let's see how this works. These numbers are all from 10 to 13, right? None of them are bigger, or so that's part 2. Okay, and I'm leaving a little blank line. I'm going to do part 3. Print the numbers 98 to 140 in 4 columns. For x in range 98 comma, we have to do one more than the second number, otherwise it won't do the second number. Oops, I forgot to print part 3. Also, we need a count variable for doing these columns. So print x comma end equals tab. C equals C plus 1. We're keeping track of how many things we've printed. And if C modulo 4 equals 0, then we print a new blank line. That gives us a blank line after every 4 numbers. And then we need to print a blank line to make sure we've gone to a new line after all of that. And then we finally print another blank line. So let's see how that goes. 98 to 140 in 4 columns. It looks good. So we're going to do a blank line here, and we're going to say part 4, print part 4. So this is to make a function. So we're going to say def I'm going to call it review. Let's see. Let's call it cool box. And it accepts a piece of text. And we have to figure out x equals length of text. So we want to print, let's see, if I'm just looking at the thing, my example has 4 letters. But for 4 letters, let's see, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need to add, we double how many letters there are, plus 1, that's the spaces, so plus 3. So I want x equals x times 2 plus 3, print stars times x, that prints the row of stars, and then we print a star and a space, but we have to say and equals empty quotes. And then we're doing a for loop for x in, not x, for y in text. That takes the letters one at a time. We're going to print y and equals space. That prints all the letters with a space after each one. And then we have to print a star at the end. So that takes care of that line with all the letters. Let's do a test. So to do a test, we go down here and we say cool box haze, and we'll just see what happens. Yeah, so that's the top part just fine, looking good. So after this, we have to do the A, Y, S downwards with all the spaces. I think a good, and we don't know how many letters there are, so we're going to do a for loop for C in range. Now we're going to start with character 1, and we're going to go all the way to the length of text. And what we have to do here is we're going to print no, there's an easier way to do this. Let's do for C in text. And let's see, I'm going to pause this for a sec. Okay, I'm back to that first thing I had. This one. Oh well. For C in range 1 comma length of text. Let's go back to this one. And so we're starting with character 1, which is really the second letter, remember, because character 0 is the first letter. So we're going to print a star and a space. Well, we don't have to put a space because when we put a comma here, we'll get the space. And we're going to do text square bracket C. So that grabs the right character, comma. And now we did X stars when we needed the whole line, and now we need 3 less than that. So right here, we're going to do X minus 3 times the star character. And then at the very end of all this, I'm going to copy this. So that should do all those lines. And then we're going to put this right there. That should print the bottom of the box. Let's see if it works. Oops, those weren't supposed to be stars. Those are supposed to be spaces. And we want to have 1 less, 2 less than that. Because then we're going to do a comma. That's 1 less space and then a star. So let's see how this works. What? Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 too many stars. I would have thought. Anyway, well, let's -1. Let's say -6 and see how this goes. All right, that's perfect. So let's try it again with a bigger number, a bigger word, I mean. Go Tigers. Yeah, looking good. So I would say let's add a check here. If length of text greater than 3, then we're going to do this. We're going to indent all of that because I don't think it'll work if with this -6 we can't go too small. It might be that a 4x4 is about the smallest we can go. But anyway, there you go. That's that whole thing. I'm leaving it here for a sec so you have time to type it if you need to. That was hard, huh? Okay, then we're going to print a blank line. And then we're going to have a blank line, and we're going to print part 5. Write code to create a list with 2 of your analyte classes. So classes equals sandwich making and pizza baking. I'm going to pretend those are 2 classes of mine. And then I said use the append method to add another class, classes.append napping. And then I said to sort your list, classes.sort. And then I asked you to print the list using a for loop, 1 item on each line. So for C in classes, print C. That's all I was asking for. And we're printing a blank line. So let's make sure it works well. Part 5, napping, pizza baking, sandwich making. That is sorted. And we're done with part 5. Okay, so then we're going to print part 6. Part 6. Do a for loop that prints the numbers 13 to 21, 1 number on each line. For x in range 13 to 20. You have to do 1 more than the second number. Print x. Let's test it. 13 to 21, every number on its own line. Looking good. Print a blank line. Print part 7. Write code that uses a try except function structure with an input integer between 7 and 14 inclusive. So we're going to say while true, try n equals int input, enter an int from 7 to 14. And I'm not going to do the inclusive part because I'm going to imply it. And we're going to say, hey, if n greater than 14, print too large, try again. And then we say continue. And we can say if n less than 7, print too small, try again. We can say continue. And then at this point, we can say break, because if it got to here, it's the right number. And then right here, we can say except value error, print it needs to be an integer. I'm going to say integer there, just okay. And then once they did it, after the loop, so you have to get after the loop is all the way to the left here on my line 77. I asked you to print thanks that many times. Print thanks times n. So let's run it. We get all the way to here. Let's test it. You hit enter. It needs to be an integer. Try 1, Too small, try again. I try 111. Too large, try again. I do 8, and it says thanks 8 times. All right, so now we print a blank line, and we print, we're almost done. This is it, part 8. Write a function called doIt that does what it shows here. Def doIt. It also accepts text. And I want, we're going to just do, let's do a for loop. For x in range length of text. So it's going to start at 0 and go all the way up to 1 less than the length. So what we're going to do is print x times space plus text. We have to do plus, not a comma. I think that's all we need. And so then down here, let's say doIt. Oh, it's not a space. It's a period. So let's try it. And here we do have to enter a number. But yeah, there you go. This first time through prints 0 periods and then the text. The second time 1 period and then 2 periods and then 3 periods. So that's perfect. That's it, everybody.